You have something in your hand for me.
Maybe.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Is that a plane ticket?
Do you want to read it?
Plane ticket or bust? Let me see. I'll be the one to decipher if I'm bust. Holy crap. Oh my God, we did it. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
What you've accomplished can't be taken away from you, and we like to recognize you and all your hard work with the Silver Creator Award. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Everyone, for those of you who don't know what this is the silver play button. So I think it is time to say a huge 100,000 subscriber thank you to everyone who's watched this channel, to everyone who has been a part of the creation and the growth and the drive of this channel. Oh my God, this is pretty sweet. So one of the first episodes I actually filmed for this channel on like the Hidden Gems edutainment series, and it was all about silver. Silver grows like a tree. And now we have a silver play button. So I think it's time to do like another silver episode. What is that? What is that? Better question, is that gluten-free? Is that gluten-free? Prove it. Prove it. I'm not eating it unless I've seen the packaging. Hey, we are having, what, tea and crumpets today? Tea. I see like an amber spoon. Where'd you get the goodies? No, you actually went and got gluten-free? Oh my God, can I have this one?
Yeah.
Dang, that's real good.
We lost her.
I'm gonna eat, and Christopher's gonna come and talk, and then we'll sign out.
Well, the last time that I came to visit you, I was told that I should have brought coffee, so would you prefer coffee or would you prefer tea? I have both.
Well, I'll have some Claire's too. This is a tea party. You know, you better run and get that scone first, or I'm gonna eat that one. This is really good. What are we talking about today?
Do you realize what we're serving out of?
Silver?
Yes. Today we're going to talk about silver. Of course, one of the things that silver is really renowned for is sterling silver tea sets.
I have part of one, I think, at my mom and dad's house. I think it was from my grandparents. Vaguely remember it.
One of the things you should always be careful about when you're using these is one of the properties of silver is the most thermally conductive metal. So always be careful when you grab your teapot not to grab it by the sides. It's part of the reason that you actually have these little pieces, these little spacers here on the handles is to keep the handle from absorbing the heat of the pot.
Personal collection?
This is.
Courtesy of Christopher. Okay, so we're talking about silver today.
Talking about silver.
It is AG on the periodic table of elements. If you guys look at your silver rings, you are gonna see the number is 925. And that is the stamp for sterling silver. Silver.
And why 925? Do you know?
There's 92.5% of silver, and then the other 7.5% is like an alloy.
Traditionally with sterling silver, it's copper.
And we've had copper on the show before, so we'll check up that video or the link for you all to see. Silver is fantastic in jewelry. We can talk about the tarnishing. Do you have something I can show how it tarnishes?
Yes, absolutely do. I have a couple of things to talk about with that. The tea set, since we've got it here, I will say one of the things about silver is there have been several different periods of artistry with it. This particular tea set is mid-century modern. So around late 1930s to about 1965 is like 1937, 1965 is considered mid-century modern.
Mid-century modern is my favorite type of design. But I'm a little confused because usually my mid-century modern stuff, it is known for like the clean, very cut lines, and this is a little bit more ornate.
So this is actually P.G. Lopez from Mexico. So you had a lot of different styles.
Mexico is known for its silver.
Known for its silver. Mexico and Peru, two of the biggest historical silver producers of all time. You have a few different pieces in here. The amber spoon is actually not Mexican, but the box is, and that's what I'm using as a little tea caddy.
And we have talked about amber on the show before. For those of you who don't remember, it is an organic stone known to have bugs, flowers, leaves. I've even heard of a few lizards caught in amber. So if you want to learn more, we will pop up a video.
And the Mexican piece is actually set with a piece of Mexican amber. And of course you've got the amber in the spoon goes well with the brown sugar.
Look at you.
It's all coordinated. So you have your coffee pot, your water pot, your teapot, sugar, creamer, place for your tea bags, and then your tea caddy.
It's kind of weird when people put sugar and cream in their tea.
Well, if you're eating something, I'm kind of the same way. If you're
to
eating
me.
something sweet with the tea, you don't really need sugar. 100.
I love giving silver platters. I love giving, like silver stuff to, I just think it's a perfect wedding gift.
I will say, do you know why it was traditionally a wedding gift? Why silver?
Because we talked about this. I know this. It was traditionally a wedding gift for silver because if the couple would fall on hard times, they could sell the silver pieces. That's not morbid?
No, it's actually money in the bank. Of course, they had the pieces so they could serve and invite the in-laws over and actually entertain so the couple would socialize. But if the family ever hit an emergency for some reason, it was also a little bit of financial security setback. We've fed you, we've got you
Lord,
something to drink, so now I think it's probably time for presents.
Can I open this up now? Oh my God, that is not arborescent. It looks, really?
Yeah, so anytime you have the silver, it's wires, but it is, I would consider it arborescent because you do have the little branches coming off, like you got like what looks like a little tree there.
Should probably tell everyone what we're talking about.
So arborescent basically means arbor, like a tree. One of the forms that silver can grow in are branching, they're not exactly wires, they're more twinned crystals, and they have a very reminiscent of a tree in appearance. They are very reminiscent of a tree in appearance.
So silver, I think we did a video way back right when the channel started, before I was fed all the awesome treats. I think it was the silver grows like a tree. What's really cool is like natural silver actually can come out of the ground like this. Like no one did anything. This has not been carved or polished, nada.
It is rare to find it that way, and typically you can get some spinel twinned crystals, which basically the octahedral type of twinning there, and then with these little guys, they're just so beautiful.
Think about it, guys. This can turn into that, and you'll have a beautiful, silver platter or something, and it comes from the ground sometimes looking like this. Natural silver, so arborescent silver is basically like silver that grows tree-like, and I didn't really see any of it until I got to JTV, which is, it's not that common to find.
Arborescent silver, the wire silver you were talking about, those are two very, very collectible forms. You also find silver in, occasionally with copper, you'll find little bits of silver inclusions in some nice copper and specimens, and people really like seeing the combination of the two naturally. Let's take a look at another box.
3, 2. Hey, that is really cool. Okay, you can talk about this one. Talk about this one. Why did you bring this?
So what have you got there?
Galena.
So Galena.
This is lead.
Our Natalie really knows her stuff.
I study.
That's an obscure one to know. It really is.
I study all the time. But it's cool, Jeff. Is this Galena?
Also Galena.
That is right there?
That is.
Why, guys? You can't touch lead and then eat a scone.
Can. Well, you can wash your hands afterwards, you'll be fine. So Galena is in here because it's where a large percentage of our silver comes from. So silver is actually mined, but in the refining of Galena for lead, about 20% of the world's silver or so comes from a byproduct from refining galena and other minerals.
So what does exactly lead do to the human body that makes it so dangerous?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's talk a little bit about how you get silver from galena.
Okay.
I see acanthite, and what's the other one?
Argentite. So the galena, basically what you're looking for, you can find trace amounts in it in a lot of them, but you get, I believe it's silver sulfide crystals in here. Well, actually, galena is known for being a very cubic mineral. Very, like you can actually hit galena with a hammer and it'll break off into smaller cubes.
Can we do that?
Not with this one, because I like it like this.
Do you just heat that up or what?
Basically, you will heat it up and then
Did you microwave that in the same microwave as you did the scones?
No. Typically, when you're doing refining, you're using heat to separate the metals, because different metals melt at different temperatures, and then basically as things cool, you basically separate them out. A lot of the refinement's actually done by a chemical process because different things will melt in different acids, and then you add different chemicals together and all the metal will precipitate out. You collect it, you add something else, the metal will precipitate out, and that's how you like separate the gold from the silver from the copper, and 14 and 10 karat gold and things like that. So one of the things with this one is, again, galena is really well known for having very nice cubic forms. You'll notice this one is very distorted.
Yeah, it does not look perfect.
No, and the reason for that is this is argentiferous silver
me tell you.
or Galena. It's the presence of the silver in here is what actually distorts the faces. So when you see these really distorted Galena faces, that's because of the presence of little silver sulfide crystals inside.
Okay, so we talked about gifts of silver, tree-like silver.
And then you had these two.
Those are creepy.
So what
Those
we
are
have
kind of
here
creepy looking.
is we have the original form, Argentite. And so Argentite is actually made up of what is distorting the faces here. This is silver sulfide, AgS. So Argentite is only stable at about 343 degrees and up. When it migrates up to the surface, then it becomes acanthite. This particular piece is still called Argentite because it retained the form of the Argentite even when it converted to acanthite. Similar to how we call aragonite, not calcite, even though aragonite converts to calcite at the surface. I don't think so.
It's been a while. Okay, so super cool silver, super cool story. What else? What's like the weirdest fact we can think of about? Oh, the tarnishing thing.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah, so that's another reason I brought out this piece. So typically a lot of people call it patina. Patina
I don't like patina.
I do. I mean,
I don't like it. But
see, like for instance here, the patina is actually given a nice contrast to the top of the piece because the patina is much stronger here, but this piece remains more polished, and therefore there's just a nice contrast. It shows age on a piece. And do you know what the patina is made of?
it's oxide. Oh.
So what has happened is sulfides in the air have combined with the silver that makes this up and literally formed a layer of acanthite on the top of the silver.
Okay, so one of my favorite things to do is actually polish silver. I love it. Have you ever done it?
I don't polish my silver very much. The main reason is that the patina on the silver actually protects it. When iron begins to rust, the rust will actually go all the way through and destroy it. However, when patina forms, it's because of the surface.
Definition of patina.
Patina, what we're talking about here is the silver sulfide layer, the blackish tarnish is another word that you have here. Patina, honestly, a lot of the time refers to more of the scratches and the buffs. Some people call the tarnish on silver patina, but it really is the tarnish is what we're talking about.
I love polishing silver. Cool story. How that relates to you all is that if you have silver jewelry and you see that it leaves a mark on your arm or in your ears, that's actually the sulfur in your skin reacting to the silver, and I can show you. This is why sometimes you'll see that your silver jewelry will discolor your skin. It's really not that big of a deal.
No.
Okay, so I'm literally rubbing the silver piece, and you can see that my wrist is darker.
That's the silver sulfide.
Cool. So I've got silver sulfide on my wrist, and I think that's super cool.
And the side of that was basically not as tarnished as what's showing up there.
Right.
So that's
you can see where it was rubbing on my skin.
Yeah. With what you were talking about with polishing silver as well, one of the things you do have to worry about a little bit is if you're polishing like hollowware or flatware or anything like that, literally what you're doing is you're typically removing the outer layer. It's almost like you're sandpapering the outside of it if you're using a silver polish. A lot of silver polishes are basically almost like a liquid sandpaper.
But I just like using the polishing cloth. Is that safer?
The polishing cloths are basically infused with a silver polish, which is somewhat abrasive.
Love polishing silver.
So if what I typically do is I will buff it to give it a nice warm shine, but not polish it up to the bright shine.
Love the bright shine.
The bright shine is really wonderful, but if you're doing that with a piece that has a texture like this, like you'll see like the basket weave pattern that's on the top of this, if you polish that too many times, that basket weave pattern will disappear. On your flatter sides, it's not so important, and you can polish those pretty safely without worrying about any real effect that you're gonna have on the piece. So one of the things that with your jewelry that you might have gotten.
Oh yeah, we talked about this.
these.
So if you order jewelry from JTV or basically anywhere, you're gonna see these little black papers. This pretty much absorbs the sulfur.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for.
And it makes it so that when you do get your jewelry, it is that color and not this color?
They are made to interact with sulfur much quicker than the silver with. So if silver and this are together in an enclosure, the sulfur is going to bounce around. It's going to bond with this pretty much the second it hits it and keep your silver from being tarnished. A little strip like this, you want to keep it with your silver in an enclosed space, but one little strip like this will protect 1 cubic foot for about 6 months to 2 years if it's kept pretty much sealed. Ready for another box?
No. Tiffany! Oh, I love Tiffany. Oh, look at that blue. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that. Oh, business cards.
My business cards?
Yeah, I don't want your business cards.
Okay.
I want the Tiffany though.
So do you know why that one's here?
We talked about this. So baby spoons, which are often given as gifts when babies are born, are made of silver because I think it's antimicrobial.
That's correct.
Antimicrobial.
That's going to, even just sitting out, the microbes are going to die in contact with the silver.
you imagine?
Baby rattles as well
Yeah.
are done silver that way because the babies are going to be putting them in there. Well, babies put everything in their mouths. I've been there, done that. So.
You have 2 babies.
Grown-up babies.
Grown-up babies.
All grown up.
Anyways, babies, I mean, think about how you're starting your life off with Tiffany.
Be nice.
Like, I didn't get Tiffany I don't think I got Tiffany when I was a newborn. I don't remember
Yeah,
it.
have to ask. Your mom may have it stashed away somewhere. I'm sure there's a little Natalie keepsake box somewhere.
There's probably some embarrassing photos of like Halloween costumes
You
past.
find your mom on Facebook. So now, do you know why this one is there?
Silver mirror. I don't know why.
One of the things that silver has traditionally been used for is in the manufacture of mirrors. In the old days, just polished silver, but then a silver backing to the glass is what was used as a reflective surface for mirrors.
No way.
So this one is different from all the others on this table.
Is that a silver dollar?
It's basically a silver coin, but it's not a dollar that's been circulated.
There's no currency.
It's 999 fine silver.
So that would be 99% silver and 1%.
Oh, 99.9.
Oh, so it's 99.9% silver and 0.1%?
0.0001.
Sorry.
Yeah. Just noting that it may have a small impurity. They can't call it absolutely pure because you can never be 100% certain that it's absolutely pure.
Look how
so
pretty
999
that is.
fine is the finest that they're allowed to basically.
I
stamp
think
it.
after today's episode, it's easy to see why silver has been used for centuries in jewelry and home decor by Tiffany.
And for engraving.
I did not know that.
So one of the properties of silver is it's relatively soft. It has the highest thermal conductivity of just about, or of any metal, which is why you always want to be careful when you're grabbing the teapot. You can burn yourself. And it's fairly malleable and easy to work. Easy to be molded into other forms. But it's especially suited to engraving because it carves very, very well. And so you can see just all the hours that went into carving this piece. This is all hand engraved, literally off of just a blank slate. Someone had to use just a V-shaped knife to carve all these little pieces in here.
Hey, I was
really
allowed to carve
impressive.
something once in this channel.
Another thing that silver is used for, which is part of the reason we have the coin here also, is it's often used as an investment. One of the things that I've always found fascinating about silver is I don't know if you know this or not, our country used to back a lot of the coins with silver and gold standard.
know that.
So up until I think about 1965, most of our coins were like your dimes and your quarters were actually made of silver. Coin silver, which was 900, so 900 parts to 100
less
parts.
than sterling.
Less than sterling.
Cool.
The standard is actually different in a lot of countries, by the way. For instance, in a lot of places like Germany and Peru, you can have 800 or 850 as the standard for silver as well.
I did not know that.
Yeah. A lot of the Mexican smiths, because of how easy silver is to fashion and that a lot of them weren't working in big, huge shops, a lot of them started out working at their kitchen table, would actually use 980 fineness silver because it was without the copper in it, it was even easier to manipulate, so you get some really beautiful 980 fineness, 950 fineness, and a lot of sterling as well for Mexican pieces. The coins, so your quarters back before the mid-1960s were silver. Now, back in that time, you could take a quarter and you could get a gallon of gas and a candy bar. Now you can't, but But
you can't do that anymore.
no, but silver these days goes between about $15 to $17 an ounce. So if you take that same quarter and you cash it in for the value of the silver in it,
you'll get more.
you can go get a gallon of gas and a candy bar. So the silver itself has actually retained its value all of this time, even though the quarter itself doesn't buy you anywhere near as much. So that's one of the reasons that people invest in silver, is because over time it'll typically hold its value. And typically when you buy coins like this, you actually want to try to buy them when the market's actually trending down, because you will typically pay a percentage, 5 to 10% over the actual value of the silver to buy the coin, and then your hope is that it'll go up and eventually you can sell it for more later. It's incredible because not only can you carve it, shape it, mold it, cast it, you can draw it out as thin as an atom wide.
I'm gonna let you do the closer look.
I definitely like this one for a closer look.
This, everyone, take a closer look at this piece right
That is
here.
a really cool piece.
Yeah, it talks about, kind of shows us how silver can grow like a tree. So take a closer look at the structure of the metal. Take a closer look at the way it's coming out of the host rock. Everyone, this was probably one of my favorite episodes. I got sugar, Tiffany, cool facts, tea, lead, which is not great, but I learned a lot. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. You don't want to miss out on what we've got coming up next. I am completely confident that Christopher and Elizabeth and the crack team of gemologists and awesome geologists that we have here have plenty more surprises up your sleeves. All right, guys, high five, Christopher. Thank you for being awesome. I appreciate it, and we'll catch y'all later. Thank you.